Welcome to the Healthier Home. Today, we're going to do some testing to see how well some shielding devices do. So these shielding devices are meant to lessen or block the signal from radio frequency or the wireless that we have. So we're going to have a look at this RadiaFence, a cell phone shield, and also some fabric that's called Swiss Shield. Okay, so here we are to do some testing of our RF or wireless shields. The first thing we're going to do is get a baseline. And I've got my cell phone here that I'm going to turn off airplane mode in a moment. We're going to use my meter here, the HF59B, with a directional antenna to pick up what's coming from this area. And we're going to see how high our signal strength is with no shielding at all. And again, we're measuring these wireless signals in something called microwatts per square meter. The number, again, we like to stay below is 10. The cell phone is going to give us numbers much higher than that, but just so you know, the number we like to stay below is 10. Okay, so let's see what our cell phone is with no shielding attached to it at all. And on my meter here, I've switched to settings, so it's going to hold on to the peak value. So it's going to show us what the strongest burst that came out of the cell phone was. And we'll use those strongest burst signals to test all of our shields. Okay, so we got up to the 3,030, 3,300, 3,500. That's the strongest burst we got that time. Okay, so now let's add some shielding in and see if we get bursts that high again. Okay, so the first shield we're going to use is the RadiaFence. So this is just a thin or a plastic picture frame with thin metal mesh inside. So let's see how much this can reduce the signal strength coming off our phone here. Nothing over 300 yet. So it looks like 350 is the highest burst we got here. So that's a pretty good reduction so far as the RadiaFence is concerned. Okay, so now we're going to try the Swiss Shield fabric. Okay, so I've got my Swiss Shield fabric hanging here. And I'm going to turn on my cell phone behind this fabric, and we're going to see what type of signal strength can come through. Now, this fabric, how it does its shielding is it has silver thread woven throughout it. And that thread is insulated within the fabric, so you're not going to get any metal flaking coming off that does happen with other fabrics. So let's see how well it can stop the signal strength coming off my cell phone when I turn it off airplane mode. Looks like 410 so far. So looks like 410 is the highest peak signal that could come through there. So again, pretty good reduction. Okay, so the last device we're going to test is an EMF blocking cell phone case. So this one in particular is from a company called SafeSleeve. There's another company called Defender Shield, which also makes a very similar product. And how these work is they're shielding just in the front cover. So as long as you're keeping the front cover between yourself and the phone, then they're doing some blocking. If you're not, if you're using it improperly, then you could actually be increasing the exposure to yourself. So a bit of a word of warning with this or any shielding for that matter. Okay, so I'm going to put my phone in, I'm going to turn it off airplane mode, and we're going to see what type of peak signal can come off of it now. 530 so far. Okay, so it looks like 530 was our peak strength that came off through the shielded cell phone cover. So all of the devices are doing some shielding, They are all letting some amount of RF through, but they're shielding and bringing the levels down quite a bit. So depending on your sensitivity or depending on how much of reduction you need, these can be really useful things to include in your home in some way. I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, the power lies with you.